Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon is out on Netflix, guys, and it's rare that an opportunity comes along this juicy that fans come together on such, well, the same level to tear this movie a new one. This movie is terrible. It's not that good, and it's not good for a multiple of reasons. Visual effects wise, it's mediocre. It's, dare I say, subpar. Some of the shots look okay, but a lot of it's done on green screen stages. World building, it is not. I watched this because of Sofia Boutella. I knew that she could do action, that she could do stunt work, and she does some, but some of the stuff that you see her do in it, when you stop and think about it, it's kind of like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why are they doing that? We know that this movie was pitched as kind of like Zack Snyder's version of Star Wars, and it's lackluster, man. All right, now, as I said, everybody's going to be saying that, so how am I going to be a little bit different? I want to showcase some scenes here for you guys that highlight exactly what I'm talking about. So this is a showcase of some bad acting.
Make you an offer.
Okay? And I want this to go permanently on the record as case one for bad acting.
Your chance at redemption.
I am beyond redemption.
I have no time for pity.
Yeah.
What?
So you hear it there. And it sucks because Sofia Boutella she's got charisma about her, right? You look at her and you're like, I want to see what she's doing. But that line delivery, I got no time for pity. Like she was, I think it was Zack Snyder just didn't know how to direct her. He wanted to work with her, I'm guessing because maybe he likes, yeah, you look at her and you want to see what she's doing, but apparently that line delivery is terrible. And that's stuff like that's littered throughout from all of the characters in this movie. We got cringeworthy accents that are in this, nonsensical stuff. It just gets, oof. And then, of course, everything that everybody else is saying about this is the slow motion. This movie is bogged down with slow motion. Okay, so there's a big ship that's attacking. Okay, I understand that you want to have this like cool shot of you jumping across, but I don't know why everything else up to it has to be slow motion, right? I don't understand that. Like, why is he running up this thing? Why does that have to be slow motion? Okay, I said this in my full live reaction while we were watching it. This is a cool shot. Okay, if you want to slow it down for that part of it, that's fine. But for the most part, as movie watchers, we're cognizant enough and aware enough that, okay, even if this was in normal motion, our eyes would still catch and say, that was a cool shot. But a lot of people found this hammy, cheap, and kind of like way overdone. So like, while this is the big climax of the movie, again, why do we need to see you slow motion running up this platform? I don't get it. So the overuse of the slow motion, it's just, you want to pull your hair out by the end of it, right? He sucks out all the dramatic wind of this. And I know that there are the hardcore Snyder fans out there that will love anything that he does, regardless of the quality being presented to them. I gotta call it for what it is. I'm a movie fan first, guys. I care about movies first, and I care about story structure. I care about the characters, and I can't tell you one name of the characters other than Korra, right? Rebel Moon Part 1. What's it about? Right? This movie, like, it tells you that it's a corralling of getting this group of fighters together, but things are so disjointed. I got lost. They're going, oh, right, we're supposed to be doing that, right? Because it does take some side steps. You've heard me talk about this before, where a movie will take a tangent and it'll be kind of like, we have to go down there and learn about that. I just recently talked about that in Poor Things. But with Poor Things, you want to go and discover what was going on down there. With Rebel Moon, it's kind of like, no, please, don't take us away from the main story. We're talking about some weird princess that we never saw or has no bearing on the rest of the story. So why are we talking about that? Anyway, The synopsis reads, when a peaceful settlement on the edge of a distant moon finds itself threatened by the armies of a tyrannical ruling force, a mysterious stranger living among its villagers becomes their best hope for survival. A new hope? Guys, there are already tons of comparisons comparing the plot of Star Wars to this. It's just better. Star Wars is better done. Zack Snyder, I don't know what you're doing in this. Charlie Hunnam, Jaimin Hansu's in this. Ed Skrein, or Screen, however you pronounce it. Ray Fisher, Bay Duna. And the guy, the gunner that you're supposed to like, or is along with, he starts off by betraying. It's just, no. You're not rooting for any of the characters. And I wouldn't be rooting for Korra if it wasn't played by Sofia Boutella. Tarek was interesting, but I couldn't tell you the names of like them while I was watching it. It just zooms. It's a mess. It's a huge mess. That being said, let's pull up my score sheet and get into where I will rank this movie. So, guys, ranking this. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography, score, 1 point each. But cinematography, as I said, all the blue screen stages and stuff, green screen stages, no, I'm not going to award that a full point. Score, soundtrack, really, really lackluster. Like you would expect when you see the ships go by and stuff like that, like good bombastic kind of like, doesn't have to be exactly like Hans Zimmer or John Williams, but you want that kind of like, and you never got that. So acting, because of the bad acting, guys, I'm going to give 0.5. And that hurts, man. That hurts. Directing, 0.5. You're lucky you're getting that, Zack Snyder. Story, you're going to hear this from everybody else. It's just a hodgepodge of lifting the story from all these other different places. And it's kind of like, well, that's from Star Wars. Yes, you can be inspired from stuff. You can use elements from other places. James Cameron does that all the time. That's why people say that Avatar's just Dances with Wolves or Ferngully. That's fine that they use that. But he didn't just outright lift things straight from like the cantina scene from Star Wars, right? That's exactly what Rebel Moon did. And it's kind of like, this isn't an original. This is boring. What's going on with the story? Why are we here? Yeah, then when you get that married in with the acting, yeah, you're hurting me here, Zach. You're hurting me. So yeah, that's where I'm thinking for my preliminary score. Let's go over and take a look at the tomato meter, because as I said, when this came out, it was like 17% by the critics, but it has climbed up a little bit. So 24% by the critics, 65% by the audience, and that's been going down over the last weekend here, as people have been home over the Christmas break watching this. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I watched the little snapshot of it in the announcement trailer from Netflix in January, and I was like, I wanted to see this. This looks like it's going to be right up our alley, guys. I love sci-fi. I love Sofia Boutella. Zack Snyder's cool. This should be good, right? This should be, yeah. And it was like pulling teeth. If I wasn't watching it, doing a live reaction to this, guys, we did a full live reaction to this here on YouTube, right here on the channel Mirror Domains. It's one of those movies that maybe I would have definitely hit the fast forward button. But it was an experience. We got through it. Let's take a look at the snapshot reviews. From The Observer UK, the story is a derivative mess that feels as though it was assembled from bits of plot picked off of carcasses other than better films, or glued together with brain-numbing, pace-killing chunks of exposition. Irish Times didn't like it. There are endless hunks of spoken exposition. Oh yeah, it's like, let's pause now while I fill you in with some backstory that takes us away from the main story that doesn't really have to have any relevance right now, but it's going to set us up for part 2 later on when we see it in April. Yeah, I get that. There are a lot of space travel, a great many uninteresting people that are introduced by the first hour, all narrative dive and slackened into a limp connecting thread. Did anybody like this? Anybody? Anybody at all? Okay, Dum Dums likes it. Getting right down to it, it is entertaining. An entertaining mess with a bevy of problems in the character department, but still somewhat fun. You're being generous, dude. But hey, to each his own. Sean Chandler, a respected fellow YouTuber. As a fan of Zack Snyder's Star Wars and space fantasy, I wanted to love this film. Me too, man. Me too. But it's simply not good enough in its current form. There's some inspired moments, but the story and script are devoid of any creativity. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. Somebody else who liked it. Orbs. Rebel Moon is an entertaining but flawed space opera with some great action and cinematography that would have been better as the first part of an R-rated trilogy. Hopefully part 2 builds on the opening film's strengths. I don't know what strengths those would be though, dude. So, obviously I'm not going to be as low as the critics there, but I'm not going to be as high as the audience. I think my initial reaction to it was kind of like, what did I say, 6? And I was trying to be generous. I don't know if I can go with the 6, guys. Let's round out this review because yeah, we don't need to beat a dead horse here. Watchability factor. If you're a Snyder fan, you want to check this out. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're curious about it. Oh, granted, like watchability factor is 0.5 is for an interesting premise. Like you want to check it out for some mere curiosities. But for the most part, most people will want to check it out once because of either they're Zack Snyder fans, they're sci-fi fans. They want to see what all the commotion is. Why does this movie suck so bad? That's curious. But I definitely can't recommend watching it more than twice, more than once. Sorry. So 4.5, that's where I stand. That's where I stand. 4.5 for Rebel Moon. And I hope I gave you enough evidence and talked about some of the points to justify that ranking. It's going to be one of the most disappointing. Yeah, no, it is. Hands down. The most disappointing movie of the year. Rebel Moon. There it is with a bullet. 4.5 out of 10. Rebel Moon, what do you guys think? Did you see it? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it because it's one that's getting torn apart and Zack Snyder he's got a bit of a delusion going on where he thinks that he can make spin-offs about this, that he's got director's cuts of this, and people are just they're not having it, dude. You need, I don't know, it almost feels like an editor needs to come in without Zack Snyder's input and that's it. The producers need to, like, he can direct what's on set and stuff, but don't have him in the editing room. Zack Snyder should be banned from being in an editing room because all he seems to be able to do is say, let's slow that down just a little bit, guys. We need a little bit of slow motion here. Of a dude running up a shaft. And that sums up Rebel Moon. Okay? All right, guys, if you like this kind of stuff, I just reviewed Iron Claw. Now, that was a good movie. That's up on the channel right now. My reviews for Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom is also up on the channel. And my full reaction for Rebel Moon. Movie reviews for Poor Things, Wonka, finale of Survivor Season 45, Hell's Kitchen Episode 11. Of course, then we do movie news throughout the week where we talk about all the trending big movie news headlines of the day. And this will be chopped up and Iron Claw will be put up on the channel as well later on. I'll leave a link to the Iron Claw up here. Guys, if you like what you've seen, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. Okay, so that will be cut out and put up on the channel. Let's take some live chats here from Pfeiffer, who says, Rebel Moon Part 1, 2 hours depicting the band, getting the band together. Yeah. Unfortunately, man, it's just, yeah, over, like when I came home from Christmas dinner last night, that's all I saw on YouTube was just people tearing this movie a new one. It's kind of like comparisons of the, okay, Corey Coleman from Double Toasted, who liked it. Really? Okay. Rebel Moon Part 1 isn't terrible, but it's derivative of so many other sci-fi and fantasy films. So he was being generous. He probably got invited to like a premiere or something. I don't know. Film Thread didn't like it. Yeah, Film Thread. I watched his. I want to know if Perry Nemiroff, because I trust her judgment. Is she on here yet? Maybe not. Yeah, but it is. It's going to be the most disappointing of the year for me. It will be. All right. I can't feel anymore in there. All right. Is that it? Yeah. All right. Let's go over to the Twitterverse and see if I missed anything. Color Purple debuts with 18.1. Yeah, so Color Purple will be #1 next weekend, guys. Domestic box office tied with Les Miserables. Second highest opening day. So yeah, Color Purple. And then I think Wonka will hang in there as the #2, and then Aquaman will drop down to #3, and then Ferrari #4, and then what was, and then Migration #5. No, Migration will switch. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play that on Friday. We'll still be doing shows throughout the week. They just won't be as well. They'll be pretty much just like this. It'll be raw. It won't be as formal.